Pawn to b3, best by test. Pawn to d5. Bishop to b2. Bishop to f5, Nimzo-Larsen attack, classical variation. Pawn to d3, restricting the light-squared bishop and preparing e4 or c4. Knight to f6. Knight to d2. Pawn to c5. Pawn to g3. Knight to c6. Bishop to g2. Everything is revolving around e4. Pawn to e5. Pawn to e4. Bishop to e6. Pawn to d5. Knight to d5. Knight to f3. Pawn to f6, controlling the jumps of the f3 knight and creating a wall against the b2 bishop. King to g1. Bishop to e7. Pawn to c3. White goes for the next breakpoint. Now everything is revolving around d4. King to g8. Rook to e1, X-raying the two bishops. White is storing potential energy before opening the position. Queen to d7. Pawn to d4. Pawn to d4. Pawn to d4. Knight to b4, with the idea of forking on d3. Knight to e4, centralizing the knight and defending d with the queen. Pawn to f5. White to play, what to move? If knight to c5. Rook to d8 with equality. Knight to g5 was played in the game. Pawn to e4. Knight to e6. Queen to e6. White's rook is looking with malicious eyes black's queen. Pawn to a3. Knight to d5. The knight can't jump to d3 because of the pin on the e-file. Knight to e5. Bishop to f6. Pawn to f3, attacking the head of the spear. Bishop to e5. Pawn to e4, a great move. The knight and bishop are under attack. Black to play, what to move? If knight to f4, a great move. Bishop to d4, a great move. Tactical resources emerge on the d-file and the weakness of the a7 gram 1 diagonal. Black will get the piece back using pins. Knight to d4 with equality. Pawn to e4 was played in the game. Pawn to e5. Rook to d8. Bishop to e4. Always grab the free pawn, says Prag. Knight to f4. Attacking the queen. Queen to c2. Knight to h3. King to h1. Black to play, what to move? If rook to f2. This looks dangerous for black. But actually white is winning. Black doesn't have a way of continuing the attack. Knight to f2 was played in the game. King to g2. Black to play. What to move? If knight to a5, a great move, creating threats on the other wing. Knight to b3 with equality, with counterattack. Knight to d4 was played in the game. This move reduces black's potential energy. It allows white to force the exchange of queens. Queen to c4, forcing the exchange of queens. Pawn to b5. Queen to e6. Knight to e6. White is a pawn up and has the pair of bishops. So he must be winning, right? It turns out that the position is still balanced. Black has compensation because of the activity of his rooks. Bishop to f3, keeping the bishop pair and severing the connection between the f8 rook and the f2 knight. Rook to d3. Bishop to e2. Rook to b3. Bishop to c1. Knight to d3, forking 3 pieces. Rook to f1. White decides to keep the bishop pair, even at the cost of the e-pawn. Rook to f1. King to f1. Knight to e5. Black has equalized the game again. Rook to a2, a mistake. The rook is eager to activate, but now leaves weak the first rank. A mistake due to time trouble. White has 5 seconds on the clock while black 11 seconds. Black to play. What to move? If rook to b1, a great move, pinning the bishop. And black has the advantage. Knight to d4 was played in the game. Rook to d2. Knight to e2. King to e2. Black to play. What to move? If pawn to a5. Knight to a3, black is winning. Knight to c4, a blunder, was played in the game, and black evaporates his advantage. Now the a7 pawn will fall. Rook to d8. King to f7. Rook to d7. King to g6. Rook to a7. Rook to c3. King to d1. White managed to stabilize the position again. Rook to d3. King to c2. Rook to f3. Rook to b7. Knight to a3. Bishop to a3. Rook to a3. Rook to b6. King to f5. Rook to b5. As Tarish said, all rook endgames are drawn. King to g4. Rook to b7. Rook to a2. King to d3. Rook to h2. Rook to g7. King to f5. King to e3. King to f6. Rook to a7. King to g6. King to f3. Rook to b2. Rook to a6. King to g7. Rook to a7. King to g6. Rook to a6. King to g7. Rook to a7. King to g6. Rook to a6. King to g7. King to e4. And a draw is agreed. Black created a solid defense against the Larsen attack. White coordinated his pieces to open the position using all the available break points. After the position opened, tactics started to swarm, and White got a pawn up and the pair of bishops. However, Black had more active rooks and a dangerous knight. During time trouble, both players made mistakes, but none of them were able to convert.